right, shalom.
Shalom.
We want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostle and elders, a great millstone. Shalom to all that I came out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. Me and the elder brother Karia on my left wanted to do this lesson, on the tensions going on between the USA and Russia. Now you have this article right here queued up, and I'll just read a little bit on it. It says, Putin says Biden's killer jab reflects United States history as Russia recalls ambassador. Right, so the president of Russia, made some statements, to the United States of America as far as the jab and the negative reactions of it. And they're saying that's the reflection of United States history, which Joe Biden made certain responses, through the spirit. Read a little bit more on this article. But that's just the tensions, man. The horns that's locking up these different major nations. China as well. There's been a lot of things going on where a lot of politicians have a lot of heat towards Moab. All right, Moab and Ammon. They're saying that this virus was man-made and things of that nature. And these different nations, they're not going to have any type of agreements, settle down, and everything is going to be, peace and love and prosperity. There's going to continue to be tension within the air until these different nations go to war. You want to say anything, Elder Karia?
Yeah, it's going to be that way because that's biblical prophecy. It's prophesied in the scriptures that you're going to have these wars and rumors of wars till it's going to be an actual war. Mm-hmm. So those are verbal wars. Those are verbal shots.
Mm-hmm. You had something you want to bring up?
I'm pulling up.
Okay, well, I just got a little bit more I wanted to read on here. Moscow responded angrily Thursday after President Joe Biden labeled Russian leader Vladimir Putin a killer and said he would pay a price for 2020 election interference. Right, and that was a major thing where they were speaking about the 2020 election interference. They were saying that Russia played a major part in the electoral disruptions and things of that nature.
And 2016's election too.
Yep, as well as 2016's election also. And a lot of those press conferences when Biden had to speak as far as Russia, he put them in a negative light. He called these different foreign nations thugs. He constantly kept saying that, and he was pissed off that the previous president, Donald Trump, was getting with Kim Jong-un. He was basically getting with these different nations, and he was basically quelling the heat that was in the air. And Biden is all about, he's an old school devil, man.
Yeah.
He's like, it's either our way, the American way, or the highway. And these different nations, which Russia is Edomite nations too, they feel the same way also. And that's really the main point. I might read this last little part and we're going to, read a couple scriptures. Russia recalled its ambassador to the U.S. on Wednesday for consultations just hours after Biden's remarks, which the Kremlin later said were very bad and without precedent. So yeah, that's really the main point of it. Matter of fact, jumping down, this is the big point. While praising the American people, Putin said the legacy of slavery and the country's treatment of Native Americans weighed heavily on its dealing abroad. In the history of every people, every state, there are a lot of hard, dramatic, and bloody events. But when we evaluate other people or even other governments, we always look as if into the mirror, we always see ourselves in it, Putin said. And if you want to say anything on that,
well, you got
okay.
Go to your scripture, and then we'll pull the scripture.
Okay, I'm gonna get it right now. What's that? What scripture you talking about?
Well, did you have anything?
No, that was the main thing of the article. I'll bring something out in a second.
Get the roars and rumors of wars.
Okay, Matthew 24.
Matthew 24, yeah.
Okay, kind of.
Fourth verse, third, fourth verse.
Yep. Yeah, and what the statements that Biden said about slavery is so true. He spoke a mouthful on that. These different nations know what America's about. So, I'll just go into the scriptures right now. Matthew 24, and 6. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
That's right, because these wars and rumors of wars is just a display, the verbal display of the tension that's brewing up. It's gonna fold over into a physical war, but it has to start, because for us to see it, that means it's been going on behind the scenes for a moment now, for a while now, and it is getting to the point where they're throwing verbal shots at each other. And if you don't have none, can you get Jeremiah 50 and start at verse 3? Because the prophecy is that America is going to go down. America is known as Babylon the Great, and is known as the harlot in Revelations.
Yep, verse 7 on Matthew 24, and I'm going to get that Jeremiah 50 right after. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places.
And those all things are happening. If there's certain apps that'll tell you how many earthquakes are happening daily throughout the world. And then also you got famines in certain lands. So these things are all happening. See, old school people be saying, "Oh, we've been living in the end times, since I was a kid." No, we wasn't. There were just certain things happening. End times represents all prophecies happening at once. This is the time where we're starting to see all the prophecies come together and they're happening, and we can see them.
Right.
That's why when the disciples asked the Lord, and that's a prophecy he gave them, that to look for, and you'll know that you're in the end. You'll know that expect the second coming.
Right. And with those older generations, even though that was still significant times of the end, this is the end of the end.
Right.
That's why you have the fulfillment. The word fulfillment, to fill full. It's basically getting to the point of the leak over. Right. That's why the scriptures also speaks about how it shall be like a woman in travail. Yep. A woman has to go through those contractions. And a woman feels when she's pregnant, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, the weight starts to show. Right. Her appetite changes. But that doesn't mean the baby's finna come at that set time.
Yeah, but she can feel kicks. The baby kicking, the baby moving in her womb doesn't mean that the baby's ready to come out. Then, like you were saying, bro, you'll start to, you'll have those contractions, and she'll start to feel in those birth pains. And then once the baby's delivered, there's no more pain. Well, all these things that the prophecy say that it's going to happen, those are the birth pains.
That's it.
And then once the destruction comes, and when Yahweh Shai comes, when he comes, that represents the baby being delivered.
That's
that represents, he's coming for salvation and destruction. He's coming to destroy, and he's coming to save his chosen. Then after that, the kingdom is here. There's no more birth pains.
All right, Jeremiah 50 and 3. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her.
Now, out of the north, that's representing Russia. That's Gog and Magog. If you look at a world map, Russia's known as, located on the map all the way at the top, all the way to the right and up to the top. So on the east, up north. Go ahead.
Which shall make her land desolate.
And Russia and China, those are the two north, even though China's below Russia, they're the two lands or two nations that has the capability to destroy America. But they're going to get help from all the other nations as well. But those two countries, China and Russia, is going to lead the charge to taking down the whore. Go ahead.
Yep, as well as Iran.
Yep.
But you will get that also in Ezekiel 38, last closing precept.
Okay.
Which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart both man and beast.
Okay. Keep reading. I need you to get to verse 9 because it's going to reiterate it.
All right.
Go ahead.
In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together.
And we're seeing that now. That's a prophecy of the stick in Ezekiel. You see Northern Kingdom brothers, Southern Kingdom brothers coming together as well. Go ahead.
Going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Lord their power. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherwards, saying, Come and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten.
Right. That's the hopeful elect. Hopeful elect is going to rise up on their feet and worship Yahweh by Shem Yahushua in the right way.
Yeah, and that shows, and it also tells you within the scriptures that every man shall curse his God and look upward, you know, and that's, pretty heavy in regards to this lesson with that jab. You know, we be on the street sometimes as far as our occupation goes, and it'd be certain people that speak about the jab, man.
Yeah.
They speak ill about the government. They see that America's full of shit. They don't trust this system. They know that it's Babylon. Some individuals know that it's Babylon the Great, man.
Right. Then people are just like you referred to when we be out working, we be coming across the people. They be saying this stuff. They waking up. They may not be waking up to the truth, but they waking up to all the lies that's being pushed on the public.
Yep. All right. Verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
Right. And that goes from, you can start that by talking about Esau, because he's the one that controls these mountains and these hills, these governments, small governments and large governments, and giving these church pastors that lead our people astray. That's the main reason our people are being led astray, by the different lies and philosophies and doctrines that's taught in these different churches. I'm talking about not just Southern Kingdom, but Northern Kingdom too. They got more churches than Southern Kingdom. Yeah,
I just got a call this morning from a Northern Kingdom church representative. It was a female. She was speaking to me in Spanish, and I was like, wrong number. Oh, no, I don't got to switch from Spanish to English. Oh, no, I don't have the wrong number. Trying to invite for, some type of communal gathering. But, just as a point, these churches go hard, man.
Yeah,
and they go aggressively, they get really aggressive to deceive the masses of the people. Because they're deceived.
Exactly. And not just the fact that they're deceived. They want to make it seem like they want you to join their church so they can share the word and the gospel and all that with them, but really they trying to heap members unto their congregation, because that's tithes that can be paid to them that they don't have to pay taxes on. So each member is going to pay their tithes to them. It's like you're recruiting them for the money sake. We was eating lunch yesterday, and they're pretty decent people, but but the church pastors that was running they had basically a barbecue, and we give them Jake props when they didn't have nothing unclean. They cooked everything the right way. They didn't have no pork. They didn't have no shellfish or nothing like that. So some of them think they're doing the right thing, but like this brother said yesterday, they got a zeal, but just not according to knowledge.
Not according to knowledge.
But he invited us to his church. He wanted us to come to his church on Sunday. So that's a big amongst our people.
Yep. Verse 7. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, We offend not. Because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitations of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. Verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations.
Assembly of great nations. That started with Russia and China, Iran, and on down to the other nations who the Most High has given nuclear capabilities to develop the ICBM missiles, so they can shoot and help destroy this land called America. Go ahead.
An assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man.
Their arrows represent those ICBM missiles, the nuclear missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles that's going to go from one coast to the next coast. They're going to go from one land to a whole nother land. Expert, when you read in, I believe it's Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, where it talks about how them as an army, and they won't break their rank, they won't malfunction, they won't run into each other. They're going to hit their mark.
Yeah, and that's modern archery. When you watch these ancient movies, the wars in most cases was dictated by the archers, man.
It was. That was the game changer.
That was the game changer. If you had a bad archery team, You know, a bad army with archers, that could be the decisive victory.
Right, and an archer wasn't always bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
You had archers that shot cannons.
Yep.
They had like these big old balls they would set on fire,
Mm-hmm.
and they would
catapult.
Yeah, they would catapult that ball of fire to try to breach those walls, get over the wall, or they hit those the top of the wall where the bow and arrows were, where the guys that were shooting bow and arrows to try to take them down.
Yep. And the modern day archers is the ones that have the nuclear missiles, that have the silos. This is modern warfare. You know, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man; none shall return in vain. And I'll get that. Let me see. Close with this one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna get Ezekiel, but I'll get the. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal.
That's talking about Russia. Go ahead.
And prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords.
The Most High basically is going to turn Russia back into the ways they used to be, the Soviet ways they were before, which were ruthless and cruel and vicious.
Right. And due to basically major governments and basically revolutions and things of that nature, you see how the Soviet Union broke up. You know, that's why I think it was like around 14 or maybe, no, it was a little bit later. But the issue with Crimea and that oil pipeline in the United States wanting to actually have control, and basically Russia went out their way to keep control of that land mass, because Esau is all about gaining territory. It's a spiritual chess, man. Yeah. You know?
That's what that was on, if I'm not mistaken, Obama's watch during that time, with that whole situation was going on in Crimea, where Russia had to step in.
Russia had to step in
because they were trying to steal you. That's what America does. America, if they want to take over a land, they'll come up with some fake militia group or some type of terrorist group that they train and they militarize and they weaponize, and they send them over there to start shit.
Yeah, proxy wars.
Right. Exactly.
Those third-party wars.
Exactly. Then they go in and act like they're going to take them out, but really they're going to invade that country and take over, take whoever's in power out of power seat, and put a puppet leader that's going to get in there, that's going to push the agendas that America wants. It's a psyop operation.
That's it. All right, verse 5. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmet.
Yep, and Persia, like the brother was saying, that's Iran.
That's right. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, that's dealing with the north, and all his bands and many people with them. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembler unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them.
Yep, being a guard unto them. So, and that's what's the main issue is going to start. The physical war is because America is going to invade Iran, and they're gonna with boots on the ground and try to take over Iran like they took over Iraq. And that's when Russia's gonna be a guard unto them, and they're gonna step in.
Yep. And you had that general that spoke about the nations that was taken down, and the last one being Iran. They
want to take over 7 nations in 5 years.
In 5 years.
Yep.
And he was like, and finally Iran.
And that's the only one that hasn't been taken down yet. They accomplished all the goals on the other nations.
And best believe that Russia as well as China, they have their intelligence agencies. They sniff out the BS of America. They know America's tracks. They know that they're working towards full-scale domination, and they're looking to thwart those plans of America because the Most High is putting that spirit on these different nations to do so.
Yep. And just to go back to that, bro, because it was vital that you brought up what went down in Crimea, because that's what America was doing. They was trying to send in ISIS to act like they were invading Crimea And so all the big major nations that are part of the UN or part of the World Health Organization, they all come together to supposedly policing world terrorism. And America's supposed to be leading the charge. America, China, and Russia. They're supposed to have this pact that is supposed to be a fight against terrorism. But America wasn't doing nothing. They were letting it happen because they sent them in there to do that. And then Russia went in there and smashed them. So this is what it's like. Like, say you have a neighborhood watch, right? And everybody in the neighborhood, you know, each neighborhood has its own neighborhood watch. And the first house, and the second house, and the third house is supposed to be in charge, stopping people's houses from being burglarized. But then you have the first house, who's supposed to be leading the charge to protect the neighborhood, sending in people that they got armed to go in there and start robbing people's houses. But they're supposed to stop that. But they really, on a secret tip, low-key sending them in there to do that. The second house is saying, why aren't you doing anything? And the first house ain't doing anything because they want them to rob people's houses. So the second house go in there and smash and take down those robbers. Then come out and look at the first house like that's what you were supposed to fucking do. But I know why you didn't do it, because you sent them.
You sent them.
That's what they do.
Exactly.
So it's an inside job.
Inside job. Yep. And that's why through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, we do these videos, because the scriptures tell us to lift the skirt, make bare the leg. Isaiah the 47th chapter, Nahum the 3rd chapter. You know, which we for the essence of time, you know, we're gonna close up. Definitely more scriptures we could have went into. Joel. You know, more in that Jeremiah 50, 51. You know, but hopefully you brothers was edified. You know, we're gonna end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.